Hey guys, we are back. I'm mostly not dying anymore, still a little stuffed up. And I am proud to say that we have finally, after quite a bit of work, after throwing out two previous versions of this, we actually have the Chronicles wiki, aptly named AKOPEDIA. It is up and running. You can find it at AKOPEDIA /loresworn.com, which will just redirect you to this page right here. And this is going to be the in-universe, in-character hub for Chronicles going forward. This is where we're going to have all of the articles about all of our awesome alternate history stuff. We've got a few pages up already, and there's going to be more going up all the time. I started on the page for King Akko. We've got this nice little sidebar here that's got some info on him, and then all of these red links are going to eventually be their own pages, to the point that we're going to build this out where you can actually just go on here and click and click and click for days and kind of get lost in this alternate universe. And we'll have kind of a mix of in-game artwork and probably some Creative Commons stuff, as well as like some official promotional artwork that we'll be using to spice it up. But yeah, this is it. This is AKOPEDIA. It exists. You can go visit it right now. It took quite a bit of work. I had to like reteach myself a bunch of CSS stuff, and actually get into like some PHP sysadmin stuff that I had never fucked with before. So I learned a lot of new skills in the process of getting this working. Now, the other thing that is going to be available, links for all of this will be in the description, so don't worry about, remembering too much of that stuff. But I've also created the Chronicles archive. This is a Google Drive folder that you're all going to have access to. You can't add stuff to it, but you can make copies of anything on here to your own drive, which will allow you to access it. And I've got all of the manual saves that I've made from 769 all the way up to 837, and I'll be continually uploading. So you can actually download these, load them up in CK2, poke around the world, see what's going on. Say you want to know what happened to Charlemagne. You could load up the 776 thing. Okay, he's still alive. Load up 802. Oh, looks like he's dead. Like, what happened? Who killed him? How can I make a story out of this? I've also got every single screenshot that I've taken. This page will take a while to load. There's over 900 of them. And I'm going to continue uploading more. Eventually I want to kind of organize them. Maybe by decade would be a good way to do that, so it's not just a big info dump. But these are all available as supplementary materials. The reason I'm giving you guys access to this is because I do not want AKOPEDIA to be a solo endeavor. Not just everyone's going to have edit access on the pages, but what I am going to encourage you guys to do is to go look through these screenshots, look through these save games, and figure out a story you want to tell. Figure out like almost like a little mini AAR, and the ones of those that pass through our vetting process, and I make sure that they're not just a load of crap. And I don't mean that in terms of writing quality. I mean in terms of like it's about Super Saiyan 3 Goku beating up the Pope or something. Like it has to seem like it could fit in the world, although it can be fantastical. St. George supposedly fought a dragon, and people in the Middle Ages believed that for a long time. So it doesn't necessarily have to be realistic, as long as it's a story that someone from this period might have told. And we're going to have a place for those up on AKOPEDIA, where I'm going to be posting the ones I really like with your name and attribution, of course, in their own little section. And then those sources might actually be referenced as like footnotes in the text of the main canon articles, which for the most part I will be writing. We might bring on some other moderators and editors to work on the canon articles as well, because yeah, anything that you see in this format is considered a canon part of the world. So those have to go through a couple extra steps of vetting. The other thing I wanted to show you, though, is how you can claim a chronicler, which is going to be finding somebody who is going to serve as your voice, as the primary source that the stories you tell are coming from within the world of the Loresworn Chronicles universe, Earth 420, whatever we end up calling it, I don't know. Just a shout out to YouTube. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to find somebody who is alive at the time of the story that you want to tell. You're going to want to find somebody who is scholarly and somebody who would have at least, you know, known what was going on. So let's say we want to write about the situation in East Francia. We do have Queen Ida here. She's 61-year-old. Actually looks very good for a 61-year-old. She's got like those Helen Mirren genes or something. And she's the last top-level Carling ruler who's currently having her lands eaten by Saxon pirates and Umayyads. So definitely some interesting stuff going on in her realm right now. So let's search for like high-learning Catholic characters. Of course, the top are all going to be Buddhist gurus, because Buddhist gurus are overpowered as shit. But here we go. Arnulf, the Prince Bishop of Rheims. He's a Frankish vassal of hers, theocratic vassal of hers. Pardon me. I really need to get my hardware noise gate set up better. Yeah, interesting dude. Poet, kind, ambitious, paranoid, zealous, chaste, stressed. And I want you guys to actually think about these traits when you're writing from the perspective of these characters, because I'll be generating these primary sources as well, and I will definitely be taking the traits into account. Somebody who loves their liege and is dishonest is more likely to make up positive things about them, and vice versa. These two don't get along. We can see why they don't get along. They're rivals. So this guy, he's zealous, so he might try to possibly smear Ida's virtues, possibly talk about her drunkenness. Let's see, does she have any lovers? Not that we know of. Yeah, see, that's really interesting. Like this guy could really have his own AKOPEDIA page. Really, he's a prince bishop. He hates the queen. He hates that she's like this slavering drunk. It's like, is this what the Carlings have come to? That this is the last great hope for the Christian West. No wonder we're getting our asses kicked. So once you claim one of these characters, that will be kind of your person to write as. It doesn't mean you can't pick someone else further down in the timeline later. It just means I'm not going to let any other contributors also write from the perspective of that person without your permission. So you are kind of, it is kind of first come, first served. I am going to write this in-universe treatise from the perspective of Prince Bishop Arnulf of Rheims, and that is he's gonna be kind of my guy, and you can contribute more writings from his point of view later on as well. That's not considered a holy site, is it? No, but it's rife with Fraticelli heresy, so he's probably, as a zealous Catholic, also raging against the rampant heresy, the Cathars in Italy. I believe we had Lollards somewhere. Yeah, Lollards in Ireland, Waldensians in Scotland. It's almost like its own little Protestant Reformation going on right here. Yeah, so that learning stat is key. You'll also want to keep track of stuff like if the character is blind, how is that going to affect their process? Do they have a friend or an aide or a courtier who maybe could be transcribing things for them? You know, all kinds of cool stuff like that. That's really what Chronicles is about. It's kind of about the gameplay, but this is the real shit. This is what's actually going to make this super freaking cool and, like, no other, you know, Paradox mega campaign that certainly that I've ever seen on YouTube is all of us kind of combing over. You know, if I'm playing as Curonia, I can't really pay attention to what's going on with the Umayyads. I can't really pay attention to what's, you know, maybe going on in India. You know, why not? You can really pick anywhere on the map, and we're gonna flesh out this world together as we progress through 1,000 years of history. Still slightly dying, very slightly. No, not a big deal, I promise. So yeah, there's going to be new regular episodes starting tomorrow. So we're going to do Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday this week. I do have a lore video coming up on Friday to introduce some new concepts. But before we go, let's kind of get everyone caught up so far. Man, like I don't cough all morning and then I start talking rapid fire for a YouTube video and suddenly my entire respiratory system is like, no. So, for those of you who have not been following, we are now under the rule of Queen Ruta. Her sister, or I believe half-sister actually now. Oh no, they're full sisters actually. Get some cough drops, TJ. Was murdered on the orders of our niece because she was a tyrant and I guess nobody really liked her because she behaved tyrannically. So Ruta is now under control of the Curonian kingdom. We are menaced by Viking hosts to our north, still continuously getting raided along the Desna by these steppe raiders out here, and just in general, the blob of a proto-feudal state, of an early feudal state that Akko left behind, it's on shaky footing. It's definitely not for sure that it's going to maintain its integrity, much less expand its borders further. We're in a tenuous spot, as often kingdoms were when a famous, amazing ruler died. And so, yeah, Ruta, our 64-year-old queen, she is a great warrior. She's not terribly smart. She is going to be in charge of keeping this all together and seeing if possibly we can even progress our tech enough so that we can remove that pagan homeland penalty, which will allow us to continue expanding our borders until we can eventually form an empire. And at that point, when we form the empire, that's when I think we might need to kick back out to the character screen and see if maybe we can salvage the crumbling ruin that is Christendom. Because, of course, if you look at that box art for Holy Fury, it's no fun to have our horn-helmed pagan mounted warriors if they don't have their Teutonic knights to fight. So we might have to see over here from what part of the Christian realms might a hero arise to turn back the tide of the attackers that are assailing it. And that will be, I suppose you could say, Season 2 of this story. I'm thinking about organizing it that way in terms of seasons, so that people don't feel like, oh, this is episode 48. I guess I'll have to go watch the previous 47 episodes. No, you can just start at Season 2, Episode 1. That's fine. But we're definitely not done with Curonia yet. We definitely want to get them to a place where they are a strong pagan empire that will continue to be a major player in European history long after we have perhaps not set them aside, but put them down temporarily to go explore elsewhere. Because again, this is not about a single dynasty, this is about the world we are creating together. And man, am I excited for really getting this going and starting to starting to see how all the little corners of this reality take shape. Anyway, new Let's Play episodes are continuing tomorrow. Be sure to check out loresworn.com. That's our website. AKOPEDIA, AKOPEDIA.loresworn.com is where you will find the Chronicles wiki from now on. If you would like to submit, claim a chronicler or submit some legends, submit some historical texts for the wiki, you can do that in the comments. You can send us a message here on YouTube. There's a comment tab on loresworn.com. You can send them to loreswornorder@gmail.com. These will all be in the... All of this will be in the description. So no worries about having to track down links. Because we'd love to start seeing those come in. And, you know, subscribe, hit the notification thing, all that cool stuff. And we will see you next time.